My name is Yana Resnick, and I welcome you here to Inspo Circle. Thank you all for joining so much. So, just a few things before we begin. If you have headphones, that would be great. Music is a big part of this experience, so if you have headphones, that would be marvelous. But not necessary, of course, not a must. Now, make yourself comfortable, but please no laying down. I would not want you to fall asleep, even though that's beautiful, but I want you to be present. So if you can just kind of sit back, feel very comfortable, but no laying down, that would be great. We're not going to go full on sleep here mode. If you have some water, that would be great as well. And you might grab a paper and pen. I will ask you to do some reflections. And so I will give you a little bit of a map for what's going to happen today so you feel comfortable. And trust is a big part of this experience. And so I want you to really be comfortable with me guiding you and for you to allow yourself to really step in to this practice with curiosity, with openness, with open mind, with possibility mindset. Imagine that everything is possible. Now just take a breath in and say that out loud. Everything is possible. And notice how even that simple possibility mindset can already open up some curiosity. So my name is Yana Resnick and I welcome you to this Inspo Circle. I would like to share with you a little bit of my story that is relevant to why making decisions is very important and being able to come from a strong place to do it and how I came to do this work. I grew up being a classical pianist and I've done it my whole life from 5 years old and I was committed to it. And I had a fabulous career. I was playing concerts. I was traveling the world and everything seemed perfect on the outside. How many of you guys have been in that situation where it seems like everything is great? Yeah, on the outside, but something inside is just not quite feeling the right way. Well, I started feeling that in my career. And it took a while. It took some years and took a lot of overthinking. Right? Because why would you walk away from a great thing? You've been building it your whole life. Why would you walk away from it? No, you should not walk away. You should walk away. No, don't walk away. But it doesn't feel good. But it does feel good, And it's like, where is the joy? Right? How many of you have stepped into something and have been doing it for a while and then you stop for a second and say, I am not joyful anymore in this. It could be a relationship. It could be a job situation. But something is changing and you have to make the big decision. So the big decision for me was to quit music for a while, to understand what is it that is bothering me so much and why I don't have that joy anymore. And there were numerous of reasons and I kept thinking and thinking and thinking. And then I started doing the work. And the work was, I started with meditation, yoga, this retreat, that retreat, hypnosis practices, neurolinguistic programming, you name it, I have tried it, biofeedback. And what I realized is that we are never really taught how to manage our bodies, how to listen to ourselves. And it's not so much only spiritual work, but it is work that is aligning and how our body functions and also figuring out what kind of patterns we have been living with our whole lives. And what things we made ourselves to believe to be true that are just no longer true for us anymore. And how many times we don't step into something because we are afraid. And we are afraid for the most part because we have learned to be afraid. So just sit with that. We have learned so many of our patterns that prevent us from moving forward and making major decisions in our lives, right? So I quit music. I went on this journey and then I started learning and learning and learning. And I realized that this is the work that I love doing. I love working with people. I love doing hypnosis. I love guiding them to change their lives. And what I've learned now I'm sharing here with you guys in these Inspo Circle events. And I'm so grateful for all of you being here. So thank you. This is what brings me here. And today we're going to first learn about some theory. I'm going to share some ideas with you. Some of them might be familiar to you. Some of them might be brand new. So just staying curious and open. And we will talk about how our emotions and brains work, more from scientific perspective than anything else, really. So then we will dive into the experience. Now, there's two parts to it. First, we're going to do the exercises. So please be proactive in your exercise, right? If I ask you to write in the chat, please write in the chat. If I ask you to close your eyes, please close your eyes, and etc. So you'll just follow me and trust me to guide you through this experience. And then we will have some integration, some conversations. I will share a little bit more about the work that I'm doing. And then at the end, we will have another deep dive to finish with a strong, strong, strong anchor that you guys can take away with you at home, to home. So, and then there will be questions. We can open up the floor to whatever comes for you and the experience and share. So that's about it. So we begin with some questions. Now, in the chat, in one word, how would you describe the relationship you currently have with making decisions? Now, I will copy and paste that for you so you can look at it in the chat. How would you describe the relationship you currently have with making decisions? One word. Or you can do a couple words. Spontaneous, paralysis, lengthy process, tug of war, lonely, tough, effortful, uncertainty, second guessing, indecisive, lost, scare, not easy, invalidated, too much analysis. Now, when I read this back, also see how that resonates with you, right? Something that somebody else writes, see if that resonates with you as well. Thank you guys so much for sharing. Yeah, and this is why I love the space, is because we can see that we are not alone in how our brains work and how we process all the information. All right, and in next phrase, next question is, describe how exactly you currently make decisions. So usually think about a pattern. If there's a pattern, notice it between different times you had to make decisions, and what does that process look like? I'm going to copy that in the chat for you as well. Emotions first, logic second, guessing all the time. Certainty after losing my job 2 times when I'm nearing age 65. Impulsive, spontaneous. Yeah, look for a pattern, right? So when you have to make decision, think back. What do I usually tend to do? Always looking back, last minute, pretty quickly, procrastinate. What is the process, the patterns that you make when making decisions? Oh, can you guys hear my train? I'm right next to the train tracks. Okay. Now, this one you don't have to share in the chat. Subconsciously, I'm going to read more. Self-sabotage. Safe, but seems to turn out to be the safest. Subconsciously looking for why it's a bad decision. Yes, exactly. Subconsciously looking why it's a bad decision. I actually will go into that in a moment, very soon. Slowly, pros and cons, but tend to be equal on both ends. Yes. Analysis paralysis, not safest. Delegate. Okay. Fear of judgment. Absolutely. Thank you guys so much for sharing. And now notice that for people who are sharing, maybe this is not comfortable, right? Maybe this is not comfortable to share in the group as well, or show your face in the group, right? Like notice what comes up for you when you are in that space, right? Why isn't it comfortable? What kind of thinking and decision making comes into that space? Okay, and now I'm going to give you another prompt. Think of one decision, and I copied it in the chat as well, in your life right now. Now, please don't feel like you have to share this one, because this can be very personal and intimate. So if you feel like sharing, that's fine. If you don't, just really be clear with yourself on this next one. Think of one decision or situation in your life right now that you keep going back and forth. Something that hasn't been resolved yet. Something you've been weighing, analyzing, second guessing. So be very specific, and I'm going to give you a minute here. Really focus. And do share if you feel like it, or keep it private. So moving away, divorce, changing locations, job, saving money, gets transferred back, moving. Yeah, you guys are coming in with very important things to decide. Speaking up to HR. Yeah, I love that. Fear of losing job, fear of losing health benefits. Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing all of that. Okay. Now, as you keep thinking about that, I will now give you a little bit of a perspective of why we do what we do. A little bit of theory of the brain and the heart and the body. So think about how we were raised, and how we were taught, right? A lot of the times, very often, we are taught to think with our brain, right? And so that all the decision making, everything lives inside our brain. So if we analyze enough, do enough pros and cons, research enough, weigh enough options, the right answer will emerge. That is kind of the usual concept, right? And so we make decisions based on intelligence and information approach. But for some decisions, that works beautifully, of course. But you are here tonight because for some decisions, that does not work. And you are here to figure out why and how. So there is a reason why just thinking with our head does not work. So let's think about first what our head is for and what it does and what it does not do. So your brain is really extraordinary. It's a phenomenal machine. It recognizes patterns, and its main job is to keep you safe and protected. So for problems that have logical answers, it's exactly the right tool. Your brain works perfectly fine. There's logic. But there's been a lot of research made on decision making that has shown that when making an important decision, what your brain does is it goes through your entire stored life history, and it evaluates where something turned out negatively. So what ends up happening is that the fear comes up, the protection walls come up, your values get estimated, and your family, relationship, the entire history and experience also gets involved. So your mind begins to loop looking for danger. And it generates more analysis, more questions, and more worst possible case scenarios. Now, why is it doing it? It wants to protect you. Now, reply a yes in the chat if you find yourself looping when making decisions and coming up with more questions instead of aligned actions or answers. Just reply yes. Let's see how many people say yes to that one. Yes, 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 yes. Yes, 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 yes. Yes, 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 yes. Of course. Yep. Thank you for sharing that. A lot of yeses on that one. Okay. So the brain is trained to do that and make sure that you are okay, right? So it looks through your entire life history, all the subconscious information that's been stored there for years, and it makes sure that are you going to be okay? If you make the decision, is it going to be safe? Are we going to survive? So, in order to get out of that loop, your brain needs help from the other parts of your system that were built differently for a different kind of knowing. So let's look into the heart. Now, the heart is a fascinating intelligence center. And that's the part that we are rarely taught how to tap into and really connect with. And sometimes we just forget, right? Even if we have known it or remember, sometimes we just forget. There's an institute called the Heart Math Institute. It's a research organization that has spent over 30 years studying the relationship between the heart and the brain. And they found out that your heart produces actual electromagnetic field that radiates outside of your body. Now think about that. It's an electromagnetic field. And that field is powerful, more powerful than produced by your brain. So your heart has its own network of neurons, thousands of them, and scientists now refer to this as the heart brain. And it's not even a metaphor, you guys. It's a functional neural network. So the coolest part is that the heart sends more signals to the brain than the brain sends to the heart. So that means that when you feel in your heart, when you think about a decision, is just not only an emotion, it's actual information. So it is your heart brain processing something and sending a signal up into your brain. So think about that. And in the chat, reply to me, please, if you have had the experience of when the head made the decision and it just didn't feel right in your heart and you knew something was off. You can reply with a yes or a no. Yes, yes, yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. Absolutely. Very often. Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay. So this discovery about the electromagnetic fields and all of this separate neural network is really a discovery that is incredible to us because it is not weakness or irrationality. This is two different intelligence centers giving you different readings, right, when that happens. And both deserve to be heard and evaluated and listened to. Okay, so now there's a third one, and that's your gut. And science has been studying that one as well. So reply to me in the chat, please, and let us all know if you have ever experienced a gut feeling, right? Like how often do we say, oh, I have this gut feeling. I have a gut feeling, right? How often do we experience that? Too often. Yeah, gut feeling. Mm-hmm. That's a really, really, really powerful feeling that should never be ignored. It's a home run. Yep. Oh my God. Yes. Yes. But. Mm-hmm. All right. So think about that gut feeling. Now, that phrase did not come out of nowhere, right? It's not imagination. It's not mysticism. The gut is, by science, proved your fastest intelligence, doing exactly what it was designed to do. Now, how many of us ever think about the gut as an intelligence center? Well, it's supposed to process our food, right? That's all we really think about. But the gut reads the situation and tells you something about it. And inside our bellies is another neural network. Now, this one contains over 500 million neurons. 500 million neurons that we tend to not step into and listen. It uses the same transmitters as your brain. and it receives information, processes it, generates a response independently from your central nervous system. So it does not generate conscious thought the way your brain does, but it generates signals. That's where this gut feeling comes from. So, question is, why aren't we using all three? Right? Why aren't we using all three? So for most of us, it's pretty simple. The brain is the loudest voice, and it uses the language that we actually speak. We actually understand. It talks to us in our language. So it's very easy to hear. It's really loud. It never stops, right? And it happens to be very close to our ears. So it's very easy. It's just right there, right? Constantly talking to us right there all the time. So the heart and gut speak in sensations. And in order for us to tune into those sensations, the first thing we have to do is calm this mind down, right? Calm it down, make it a little less obnoxious, make it quieter so that we can tune in to what is happening in the heart and in the belly. So today is really meant for us to practice tuning into the belly and the gut. And think of it as, imagine you have, your body is like an instrument like a musical instrument, violin or cello or piano. Now, you would never play that instrument if it's not tuned, right? So today is really about tuning into the right frequency and really allowing ourselves to tap into those centers so that you can play that instrument in tune when you walk away. In the chat, write down one statement that is preventing you from making a decision, a thought, or a pattern that the brain keeps telling you about this decision. So it could be something like, I don't have what it takes, I'll fail, it's too risky, I'm not ready, I don't know enough yet. So one statement in the chat, I'll copy and paste. So look at these ones. I am afraid to regret. This is what I'm looking for. I need you guys to really focus in on any patterns that your mind creates like this. Nothing is working, more of the same. Yes, maybe I'm not good. Exactly. Those are the kind of statements that I want you guys to look for right now to see if there's this kind of statement that is somewhere inside your mind. Okay, so procrastination is great, but what is the statement that you create in your mind when you are procrastinating? Right? Procrastination is a result of some kind of statements and belief systems. I've been wrong in the past. Now ask yourself one question and really sit with it. Can I absolutely know that this statement is true? Can I absolutely know 100% that this statement is true? Write down 5 ways how the statement is not true. So even if something like depression, right? Even if somebody clinically diagnosed you with depression, I want you to challenge that statement and find ways where that statement is not true. 5 ways that you are not depressed. 5 ways you are not procrastinating. 5 ways you are not afraid of failing. 5 ways you are confident in your decision making. When was the last time you actually made a great decision? 5 ways where you are not doing what you just said you're doing. All right, and then this next practice, you guys can just put your pens and pencils down, whatever you were doing, set that aside. And notice what has shifted already in your idea of those statements, right? When you begin to really tap into and ask yourself, is what I'm saying even true? Right? It begins already this journey for your brain to start looking for other types of options, right? And puts you in a very, very different mindset already. So challenging those thoughts and challenging those belief systems is very, very important. Don't always assume that what I believe is true. Now, next exercise, I will teach you how to calm the mind, and you can use this. It's very, very practical. You can use this when somebody was saying, facing HR, department, and maybe talking to somebody. You can use this practice for clarity, calming down your mind, focusing, seeing a perspective, all of those things. But also if you are in need of making some decisions and you just notice that your brain is just loud. Okay, so this next exercise I will teach you is exactly for that. All right. So think about a challenge, something small but specific. And now, just simply pick a spot or a focal point to stare at. With your eyes open, just pick a spot. Now really focus on all the details of that point, that spot. Notice every single detail, the shape, the color, the quality of it, the texture. And now slowly begin to expand in your peripheral vision without actually looking anywhere else but that spot, but in your peripheral vision, begin to include all the space around that spot. And just noticing the details of what is around that spot. Expand your vision even farther out now to the sides, to the ceiling, and down to the floor. Keep looking at that spot in front of you, and now with your peripheral vision, begin to expand your awareness all the way up to the ceiling and down to the floor, noticing what you notice. And now expanding even more, allowing your visual field to open so that you can imagine almost becoming aware of the space behind you. Staying this awareness and focus in that peripheral vision, sensing, noticing, being aware. And now bringing your attention back into that one original spot. And now noticing what shifted. Now I want you to remember what you just experienced. And this is something you can practice, bringing the attention into the focal spot and then expanding little by little around it, bringing it all the way out and out and out and even behind you, and maybe expanding even outside of the room and expanding that way, and then bringing back your focus into a focal point. And notice what shifts and how easy it is to just calm that mind. And notice that probably right now you are not even thinking about what that original question was or the challenge. Now that is really the purpose of that, is imagine you're standing in front of somebody who is intimidating, right? And you need to have a clear conversation. Now pick a spot and then begin to practice that, right? Focal point, then expansion, expansion, expansion. When you begin to do that, you're no longer focusing your mind into the stress situation or anxiety. You're moving beyond that, outside of that. And then with a clear mind, the clear thoughts come in, and then you can face that person and tell them whatever feels aligned for you, right? So this is a great, great, great practice to do. All right. Now that our mind is calmer and is more prepared to receive what you're about to receive, I invite you to sit back, relax, and allowing your eyes to close and feel a sense of relaxation taking over your body. In this next part, we're going to tune your beautiful body, to tune your beautiful instrument. And we begin by just setting your breath. We will begin to breathe in for 4 counts, then holding the breath for 4 and exhaling for 8. Begin now. In, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now as you keep breathing that same way, inhaling, holding the breath, and then exhaling twice as long for several minutes or as long as you remember, allowing your body to just fully relax, allowing your jaw to drop down, almost as if it's dropping to the floor, letting go of tension around your face, letting go of any tension on the top of your head, your face, releasing the muscles, neck, releasing, letting go, relaxing head, arms, hands, chest, shoulders, belly, thighs, calves, feet, toes. As your entire body feels more and more relaxed, allowing yourself to drop in. And now direct your attention into your heart. You might even want to put your hand there so it's more connected, feeling your heart. And now begin to breathe directly through your heart. Imagine that you are actually able to breathe through your heart. In through your heart and out through your heart. You're now connecting with your intelligent center, the one that brings emotions and feelings into your life. Emotions is energy in motion. Energy in that heart. As you breathe through your heart, notice the sensation you might feel there. What is the quality of this sensation when you tune into it? Is it open or closed? Is it expansive or maybe guarded? Is it warm or neutral? Whatever it is right now, just observe it and tune into what is going on in your heart. Knowing that there's nothing to do, nothing to change. Just listen and observe. Now think of someone you love deeply, a person, a child, a friend, someone whose presence instantly warms your chest. See them, hear them, feel the way your body softens near them. And let that warmth spread until your heart feels full. Breathing into this love, this tenderness. That same tenderness inward And ask yourself, is there a part of me that could use this love right now? Am I fully allowing myself to be loved like I love others? If there's a part of you that needs that tenderness, that warmth, send it there right now. Breathe into it. Let this love fill spaces that might have been forgotten. And notice how your body responds. Maybe a sigh, a subtle release in the shoulders, or just stillness. And now ask your heart that one big question you came here to solve. The one you couldn't find a clear decision on. When you ask the question, be clear in how you ask it. Just whatever comes to you is the right way. Just begin to receive the information when you begin to listen to your heart's answer. It might come as a feeling, as a sensation, as an image, as truth. However it shows up, just listen, notice, and observe and receive. Now dropping your attention to your belly, 2 inches below the navel. And send a couple of deep breaths into your belly. And begin just by noticing what it feels like. Are there any sensations, qualities that you might notice? Just observing. And now asking your belly the same question you need clarity on. Just allowing yourself to observe and accept what is coming up for you in this moment. Noticing if more information is being shared. Notice if it aligns with the information from your heart and your mind. Observe the information, observe the learnings. Tuning in. I invite you to join me in toning a sound with your voice to all areas of your wisdom centers. We will begin with your head space. You can pick a tone that would resonate in your head. If If you aren't used to singing, that is okay. Nobody can hear you. Just invite you to make any kind of sound, any kind of resonance or vibration that you can send physically into your body. Choose a tone and just send that to your head. There's so much power in vibration and sound. It will allow you to just physically connect. Taking a deep breath in and just send the sound there. Now you might want to choose a different tone and set that tone to your heart. Take a breath in. One more time. Now send another sound into your belly. Make sure your belly is resonating deeply. Allow for the sound to fill your whole body from top to bottom and bottom to top. Feeling this beautiful energy aligning your entire self. And if you have found yourself to be getting different information from your belly and from your heart, this is now the time to ask a question. What do I need to learn before I can be in alignment? What learning do I need to know before alignment? And if you notice that your mind, heart, and belly aligned, notice what that resonates like. Just allowing this beautiful energy to be here right now. And in a moment, as I count from 1 to 5, when I get to 5, your eyes will open, body aware and awake, your mind clear, feeling grounded and present. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Take a deep breath in, open your eyes. You might want to stretch. Notice what it feels like. Notice what information you just received. Just able to tune your body to bring more attention to those centers. Whatever that experience has brought, right? Taking in as information, trusting that whatever lessons you were meant to get today, maybe it's not the clear answer yet, but whatever tuned in for you today, opening to that. So now I guess invite you to Dana, if you can share with us. There's a place where I would ask you to please integrate. It'll come up in a second. So there's a QR code. And now the reason why I'm asking you guys to do it through the system is it really helps me so much to understand where you are coming from in order for me to do these. And then this way, your answers is absolutely confidential and private. We don't share it with anyone except who I work with on these events. So this is integration for you if you click on the QR code, or also the link. If the QR code is not working, it's in the chat. Dana just sent it. So this really is for you to reflect on and answer those questions. And I will give you 3 minutes to sit with it and integrate whatever just took place for you. Now, this is also not the end. We still have one major practice in a couple of minutes. So stick around. We are not done yet, but please do fill out the form there with your reflection. So Inspo Circle, we started them in January, and we have been running these different themes every month. So we now have, March is over, April is now over. So we have 2 more in this free event series in May and June. So if you guys click on that QR code, they are free events just like today, and you can sign up. And as you saw, you still get a lot of value, even though I don't believe in workshops that don't provide value. So this is all about diving into the work. And so May is going to be focusing more on when all eyes are on you, and however that shows up for you. It may be taking responsibility, it may be speaking up, or stepping into an important presentation. So all of those things is when you are under pressure of performing highly. And then June is permission for joy. That's my favorite, because we sometimes focus so much on the deep, pain and depression and all of that. And it's like, sometimes we just need to allow ourselves to be joyful. So we're going to step into that in June. So if you follow that QR code, also there's a link for the rest of the programs, so you can register and invite your friends as well, right? If you found this beneficial, it would be great to spread the word. So the next one I want to share is, so because you guys showed up, I decided to have a certain amount of clarity sessions available. Now, what it is that I do in one-on-one work. We use hypnosis and reprogramming, but really what it does is, if you want to dive deeper and you feel like you are ready to do this kind of work, to really open yourself up to possibilities, and you feel that something is keeping you stuck, something is keeping you back. There is maybe belief systems, there's the patterns that you cannot overcome, there's the overthinking patterns that you need guidance on, and you feel like you need to break through and you just don't want to stay where you are anymore. This is the kind of deep work that we do together. So please copy this QR code that will take you to Calendly scheduling, and then you can meet with me for 30 minutes where we will discuss where you are right now, what your goals are, and I will make sure that I can provide you with a clear step forward. If that means working with me deeper, that's one path. If that means referring you out and maybe sending you some ideas of what it is that will benefit you the best, then that's what I will share. So please sign up. It's in the chat with a Calendly link that you can sign up for a time with me alone and discuss. So there were some questions, for example, how do I deal with differentiation between mind, body, mind, heart, and belly. The clarity call would be perfect for that, because then you and I can dive into it and see what we can find there, okay, and do more work on that. All right, so the next one I want to share with you is this Inspo Circle is a part of a bigger project called Inspo Journey. And so if you are interested in what we're doing and creating, check out inspirejourney.com. There's some information there. And if you need to reach me and have any questions or ideas, then I can be reached at yana@inspirejourney.com. All right, so let us now move into the closing practice. And then after the closing practice, let's open it up for questions and conversations. Okay, so now this next one is important. Don't leave just yet, because we are going to create a powerful anchor for you to be able to make decisions going forward. So I invite you to close your eyes again and taking a deep breath in. And now imagine yourself in a beautiful place where you feel incredibly comfortable, safe, magical, and just as you want to feel. And just taking some deep breaths in and out. And you begin to walk and find yourself in front of two paths, each representing a decision you need to make. Now take a look at one and then the other. And coming from this new place of comfort and connection to all your wisdom, confidence, and knowing, tapping into all three centers, decide which path you would like to go on right now. What does it feel like to begin to make this powerful decision and begin to walk on this journey and on this path? And notice what is there for you as you're walking on this new chosen path. What does it feel like to walk? Explore every detail. Notice the smells, the feeling. Notice what you see and can sense. And now you find yourself, as you keep walking, you see another fork, another crossroads. And here you begin to notice two more paths. And now that you know that you have confidently chosen a path before, your decision for which path to take next becomes even more effortless and easy. Notice both paths and how both of them make you feel. And choose which path is next for you. Which one aligns with the entire flow of your life in the most supportive way. As you make another clear decision, you now begin to walk on this path of choice. And notice where this path is bringing you next. See what you see. Hear what you hear. Feel what it feels like. And as you keep walking, find yourself seated comfortably on the ground. As you feel yourself stable, steady, grounded, knowing exactly what it is that you want to create in your life. You notice how easy it has become for you to make choices that align not just with your greatest good, but also the good of everyone around you. Notice now that all the people that support you on your journey are now there with you. They're watching you bloom and flourish. As you feel that support, notice how your body feels. What does your mind notice? And when you're going to come back to now, to the present, and into your body, you will keep this feeling of confidence and clarity with you each time you will need to make a decision in the future. And as you remember to connect with your body for answers, your heart, your belly, I invite you now to breathe into your nose and out through your mouth. And a big sigh of release and ease. And when you're ready, you may want to begin to stretch. Move your body and opening your eyes. Welcome back, everyone. Here's the thing, I have to say this because sometimes we come to events like this and we go, maybe some of you have experienced something like this for the first time. And sometimes what happens is you might start questioning, oh, well, did I see the right thing? Did I do the right thing? Was I even able to tune into this? And, we kind of start spinning in our own thoughts. There's no right or wrong. Whatever came up for you today is a process. And today what we did is just open the little doorway into what is possible to do with your subconsciousness, with your body. So even if you felt like maybe you didn't align or maybe you didn't get the answers, it is all okay because today was about tuning in, right? Because I am sure that some of you received pretty interesting insights as well. So if anyone would like to share, this is now the time. You can do it in the chat or just raise your hand. Everything is welcome. It's just an opportunity for us to hear back from each other and connect on a little bit more personal level. Michaela, hello, my friend.
Oh, Yana, it's so amazing to be here with you.
Thank you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for sharing what you're sharing. Since I met you, I thought I want to work with Yana, whatever it is that you are going to be sharing. I want to experience that. And so when you offered this, I was like, okay, this is my chance, especially being far away. And so right now it was very expanding for me. and giving me clarity into what is at the root or was at the root of my hesitations in decision making.
Mm.
And finding or seeing that clarity face to face, seeing that clearly face to face was less threatening than having the constant like, oh, what if I, but if I make the wrong decision, and and it was just like, oh, that's at the root of all my fears of in any decision.
Mhm.
Wow. Okay, I understand. I understand why. And and it helped me have compassion towards my thoughts of my my thoughts of protection, of fear, of like hesitation and whatnot. And it was like, oh, okay, it's okay. And I guess doing the last meditation and doing the walkthrough and having the fork on the road was like um integrating based, yeah, it was integrating that knowing or that realization that I had, and I was able to enjoy it. And yeah, I really, really, really enjoyed this. And I love that you incorporated sound.
Mhm. Yeah.
So thank you so
Thank you.
much,
Thank you.
Anna.
Thank you so much for sharing and being here. I love it. Yeah. So I wonder, with sound, how that guys resonated with you, literally, because we don't often do this kind of, but it's almost like internal massage to our system. We sometimes like forget to sing, and maybe we feel again another limiting belief: I'm not good enough, I don't sing, whatever, right? But sometimes just sending that kind of vibration, it's so powerful. And so it's literally, think of it like next time you try it and you feel something, just send that power of the voice into whatever area feels tension. And it helps so much. Me being a musician, I love incorporating sound into this, right? It's just like makes perfect sense. But to me, I hope to you as well, that you noticed that it really shifts. But Mikhailov, thank you so much. I love that you had that realization, right? And then you said, well, there's fear underneath all of those decisions. Now, I want you guys to think about this one thing. I would say that underneath any indecision, there's always a fear. And next time you have that kind of thing come up, ask yourself, what is the fear? What is the fear? Instead of going away and be like, well, I don't want to face it, right? Like Michaela said so beautifully. What is the fear? And can you name it? What am I actually afraid of? What is the worst thing that I'm afraid of? And when you name it, ask yourself the follow-up question. What is the positive intention of having this fear? I'm going to put it in the chat. Okay, so first of all is, what is the fear? And second is, what is the positive intention of this fear? Now, what you will begin to notice is that, first of all, you are most likely afraid of something made up. It's not even real most of the time. And second of all, it has a positive intention. So the positive intention could be, I don't know, can someone speak up and maybe share what the fear is, so we can do a little example thing? What is the fear? And then anyone feels like sharing? Lika. Okay.
Yeah. Um, I think one of my biggest fears that I have recently come to realize that I have is that I've built a certain reputation for myself where I know that people who know me expect no less
Mm-hmm.
than some level of perfection. And that's my opinion. That may necessarily be the opinion of those other folks. But I think I am terribly afraid of ruining that reputation,
Mm-hmm.
and somehow causing a disappointment of not coming through.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for sharing. So, first question is, instead of focusing on the worst fear and what is underneath that fear, you said there's a expected level of perfection. Now, thinking about that, is it really true for them? Are you 100% confident that this is what they want?
So I think I used to
Mm-hmm.
strongly believe so. I think at this point, nobody really gives a fuck. Sorry for the language, but I'm coming to a realization that I think it's really just
Mm-hmm.
in my head. And
Yeah. So, what is underneath you thinking that? What is the positive intention of you thinking that?
the positive intention of me thinking that I'm not going to come through, that
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to fail. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
I think that the positive intention is that if I don't even attempt it, then there is no track record of failure.
Mm-hmm.
So if I don't
So,
do it, I guess I remain with my amazing reputation of perfection.
mhm. Now, is that really true that you have amazing reputation, or is that also something that you have decided for yourself?
I think I have amazing reputation to a degree, to some degree.
Hmm. So, what happens if, let's say, in your eyes, you fail? What's the worst thing?
I think recovery is hard. I think it's traumatizing when you're really being honest with yourself, where you hold yourself up to a specific standard. And when you don't come through, I think failing in the eyes of others holds more responsibility than just failing in front of yourself where nobody even knows that you failed. Like you
Hmm.
keep that failure kind of quiet. So
Hmm.
I I think it's that responsibility in front of whoever my imaginary audience is.
Okay, so focusing on what is this fear protecting me from? What is the positive? Because failure is not a positive, right? So, what is the positive intention of this fear?
Just keeping me safe,
Yeah. Hmm.
keeping me away from experiencing these negative emotions of failure. It's
Hmm.
keeping me in my comfort zone.
So, what does that do for you? The comfort zone.
It prevents me from growing.
Hmm. Now, is that safe?
It's comfortable. Is it safe? Probably to a degree, but at
Hmm.
some point it gets boring and unsatisfying,
Hmm.
and you realize that there's more,
Hmm.
and then you recognize certain patterns that you keep falling into.
Right. So, recognize the pattern of, okay, this might feel comfortable, right? But I know you.
Mm.
People don't hear, but let's share a little bit about that, right? You keep wanting to expand. So, is it really comfort?
Not at all.
Not at all. So, what is that fear doing by keeping you supposedly safe in your comfort zone? Is it actually keeping you safe?
It's keeping me feeling unaccomplished.
Mm-hmm.
So while there is some certain level of comfort and clarity of if I don't do anything, I'm gonna like life's probably gonna go on. There's a
Mm-hmm.
certain level of comfort in that, but there's this negative feeling that comes with it where Like, been there, done that. Now what?
Mm-hmm. Right. So, is it possible to reframe the understanding of that fear and saying, actually, you are not preventing me from discomfort. You are not keeping me safe. I am not comfortable in this. I want to keep going, right?
Yeah, I don't think I've ever had that conversation with myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You guys notice, right? What shifts? We just went, oh, it's keeping me safe. Oh, wait, it's not. Right? Yeah. So maybe it is the time to have that conversation,
For sure.
right? When you reframe that actually what you are afraid of is actually what you really fucking want. That's when we begin to get into action.
Yeah.
Yeah. How does that feel?
Uncomfortable.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So if you,
manageable, like a manageable level of discomfort.
hmm right. So what I would ask you also to do is drop into that discomfort and notice where it is coming up for you and what is the information of that, right? So doing exactly the same kind of tuning we did today with head, heart, and belly. So when finish, sit there and go into the discomfort and ask yourself, what is this discomfort about? What is it showing me? What information do I need to get out of this discomfort? And tuning in and allowing yourself to just be with it and get the information.
I want to comment on that. I think actually to piggyback on your question regarding music, I think
Mm-hmm.
having music there, having been given an assignment to make a sound, it forced me to stay more focused. And if I didn't have that assignment, I think my mind would have been racing of like, a million things that I need to do. And oh, by the way, when no one's looking, maybe I could check a text message or maybe I could do the and I think it was just brilliant how you just like you forced me to stay focused just with that one very simple assignment of
Mm-hmm.
making sound and directing that sound into a specific.
Mm-hmm. Right. So
I'm
keep that.
sorry,
Keep
yeah.
Yeah, so keep that. I mean, this is great, right? Because again, it's like it's not just physical thing, it's vibrational thing, all of those things, but also you're absolutely right, it keeps you focused, right? Because it also keeps your breath in a certain way, right? In order for you to make that sound, you need to breathe in deeply, right? And then tone out. And you can't just go right? Because then no sound comes through. So it's keeping you aligned with your breath. It's keeping your mind focused, right? And your mind clear. So do practice that. And like, again, like if you get a chance tonight, sit with that and maybe hum into that while you're doing it. And then just ask those questions. It's really what this work is about is to begin having conversations with yourself in a way that you ask a question. Is this a positive thing for me to think, right? So you start having relationship with your mind, with your thoughts. Instead of self-sabotaging yourself and constantly being hard on yourself, we begin to ask a conversation, right? Does this thought even belong into my brain, or do I want to get rid of it? Do I need to keep thinking these thoughts? Is this beneficial for my entire system, for my life, for my family? Right? And we begin to notice that relationship with thoughts and processes and patterns. And then, again, like tuning into the heart and asking a question, okay, well, what would I rather feel? And that is a very, very important part because when you know how you don't want to feel, then you need to go into, well, how do I want to feel? Right? And then the heart is really good at that. Well, heart, how do I really want to feel? Expanded, free, careless, right? In some of those areas. And just, again, you go through this process, even it's like self hypnosis almost. And then you tap into what I'd rather feel.
I also think just our modern day world is so damn fast paced that for
Mm-hmm.
some decisions, they're hard to make, not because they're difficult decisions, but because we're just not allocating the time to have that conversation with ourselves. Like
Mm-hmm.
we're asking for validation from other people, from, I have a special relationship with my chat GPT nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
But we seek validation from outside sources.
Mm-hmm.
My entire life, my professional life, I've been pulling data to support a
Yep.
decision, whereas sometimes you just need to have a really honest conversation with yourself.
Yeah, exactly. And notice what you said. Oh, it's so busy, and yet you're spending all this time getting outside validation. So there is time to do that, right? So I would invite you to maybe next time think about, okay, is it ChatGPT or is it my heart?
Yeah.
Right? And that's a pattern, right, that we have trained ourselves to do. It's like, oh, I need validation. I need somebody else to decide what I need, right? And we go and we brainstorm with that and get answers and whatever. We talk to friends, right? And that's a pattern. So I would ask you and invite you guys to begin to understand, do I have that pattern? And if that's so, is it serving me? And is there maybe something else to it that I can try and see and get curious about and see if maybe there's a potentially answer inside already, right? And you're already ready to make it. So it's also, all this work is about breaking those patterns. So if something doesn't work, let's become aware of it and then see how else we can substitute with something else that works. Yeah. Thank you for sharing. Anyone else wants to ask questions or contribute to sharing? Let me check the chats. Okay. All right. Well, thank you guys all so much. Manju, did you want to say something? You unmuted
Oh
yourself.
yeah, the voice, the singing was magical. My goodness, I felt like, a huge transformation was happening as we sat through your session. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, and I just feel it reflects on us not taking action for the things we can control, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think it kind of like you're guiding us to focus on, hey, what can we do about these things? Just make some progress and we'll feel better,
Mm-hmm.
Move,
Yeah.
move, just keep moving.
Yeah, exactly. And it's about perspective, right? And also, um, you mentioned a very important thing is we often depend on the circumstances outside of our decision, right? So
Mhm.
we are constantly in reactivity mode. It's like, well, I'm not doing this because this happened. There was a war and the president sucks and blah blah blah, right? And it's like we're constantly so busy looking at the external factors that make us feel a certain way, and we're literally victimizing ourselves. And what we're doing by doing that is saying, I have no power, but you do, right? You can make a choice on how to react to events outside of your surrounding. You can choose what kind of events you have access to, what kind of news you listen to, what kind of action you take first thing in the morning. Do you go straight to the news or do you tune in? Right? That sets your entire day. And we make those choices all the time. And so we depower ourselves when we allow the outside circumstances to control how we feel. And so what this work is really about is saying, I have a choice. I have a decision to make here, and I am empowered to do that. And begin to notice where you rely on external circumstances to control how you feel, right? And then making a choice and saying, well, I don't want to feel this way. First of all, that might mean you don't listen to some of the news, right? But then sometimes it means you can actually choose how you react. Let's say you did hear the news, you actually have a choice how you react to that and how you get triggered or not triggered and what you do with that information. So being really mindful of what comes in, right? Your body is your holy temple. That's the only one you're going to have. So when you are in that state, really noticing what it is that you're allowing, what kind of information you're allowing in. And then within that, also noticing what is going on in the internal world, right? How your thoughts and emotions allow you to feel and process information, right? So you do have a choice, and you can step into that power by just beginning to notice what choices you're actually making. So thank you for sharing that. And for singing, actually, this is, I think I'll share with you guys too. So I was never really a singer, never really professionally trained and etc. When I started doing this work, after I quit music, funny enough, I started stepping into my voice more and allowing myself to improvise, to make up music, which I used to think I was never able to do. And when you step into this possibility, right, at the beginning we talked about, well, what is possible? And so by doing this mental emotional work, I started questioning, well, what limiting beliefs do I actually have? And me singing and improvising and making up music was definitely a limiting belief that I couldn't do it. And I started practicing that and overcoming that. And so what you heard today is just where it got me. This music I, made myself. Everything you guys are hearing was produced by me and my friends, with my guidance and etc. So, it's just, I am so happy about that because I always felt that I was not fully expressing. And this work really allowed me to begin stepping into that and outside of those belief systems that we can't do something, I'm not good enough. So I appreciate now being able to share that with you. All right. Anyone else wants to share? I'll stick around as long as you guys want to share. So if you have to go, thank you so much for coming. Stay in touch. But if you do want to stick around and share, I'm happy to do that. Let me check the notes here. Yeah, thank you for the question. Will you receive recording? Hopefully, if everything recorded. Last time we messed it up and it didn't get recorded, which was a bummer. But yeah, the plan is that seems like we were recording, and I will send you the playback by email. So be on the lookout for that. I'll put it also on YouTube. Anyone else? Any questions? Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. Shall we call it a night then? Thank you all so much. Okay, bye.